Essentially, I felt abandoned. I had this idea that everyone close to me would leave me. I don't think I could even cry. I only felt empty inside. But Rui says that it was oh god damn it, me and reading, that it really was a terrible time. She says that I didn't eat, didn't sleep, didn't even play any games with her. She says that I looked like a ghost. Heck, practically became one. And I don't remember it, but she says that one day... Okay, there seemed to be something, but I didn't see what it was. Like, looked like a milkshake, but I doubt it was a milkshake. Huh. Yama, what's wrong? Nope, sorry. That's it. Sub-story over. Are you sure? You do realize that the entire point of therapy is to share your sub-stories. It's not a burden, Yama. I'm glad to hear you out. I feel tired. I'll have to stop here. It's mainly an excuse, and a very effective one for therapists. Mr. Ryota immediately nods in understanding. Thanks for confiding in me. Just know what you felt was completely valid. I'm sorry you had that trauma. It's fine. I got over it. I'd like to go now, if that is okay. If you're sure. Is there anything I can do for you? I'm okay. Sure you don't want a lollipop? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But thanks. Have a good day, Yama. But at least take this prescription. I always thought it was prescription, but apparently it's prescription. Huh. Seriously? Then I actually looked at it. 1 bucket of ice cream to be eaten guilt-free. Oh. As far as the administration knows, this is totally a legitimate treatment. Ice cream is one of the core groups in the food pyramid, you know. He actually pulls a genuine laugh out of me. Thanks, Mr. Ryota. And thanks for listening. Anytime. I exit Mr. Ryota's office in a considerably better mood than when I entered it. I actually don't feel tired. I feel rejuvenated. Like that one time when I draw stuff with blood on trees. Hey, Yama, you the mayor and Mr. Ryota, I see your crazy mafia yakuza ways. You criminals. I'm pretty sure you criminals. Seems like those memories have been weighing on me for a long time. Maybe therapy really will be beneficial. Or maybe... You know what? Maybe, just maybe. And I know that is clearly out of the left field right now, and I have no proof whatsoever. But as mentioned, like, Mr. Ryota seems like kinda the bad guy in stories like these, you know? Often the gentle teacher in murder mystery stuff is the bad guy. I don't want to give examples because then I spoil stuff you may or may not have seen. So, but it happens, it happens. Maybe during their therapy sessions, Mr. Ryota makes Yama think that he did stuff that he didn't actually do. Now that would be cool, but as mentioned, that is totally out of the left field. Deciding to take his prescription to heart, I head straight to the downtown shopping area. With my mind cleared, I get to pay a little more attention to the weather. Beautiful, cloudless skies. The slightest hint of a cool breeze. You! Good point, you. Why are you walking so anonymously around here? A girl careens from around the corner and nearly crashes right into me. Her glasses flash dangerously as she tips her newsboy cap over her forehead, studying me with an intensity that could rival an electronic microscope. Me? That's all I can manage to say at the eccentric sight. Yes, you. An idyllic, unlettered civilian. Perfect. Oh, you aren't even Misaki. Well, that was actually my bad. A hint of a satisfied smile tugs at her lips. For what must be the 100th time today, I feel a keen sense of impending doom. Respond to my questions with either yes or no. Do not deviate. Do not invent. And for the sake of both of our sanities, do not dawdle. First, am I correct in assuming you are an academy student? You must have the wrong person. I've never seen you before. How can you judge the purpose behind this encounter without knowing the criteria I have set in my approach? I'm not mistaken. You are my target. Still seems kinda weird. I'm on Yama's side in this one. It doesn't take a genius to sense that this girl means trouble. I decide to conveniently ignore her and step around her. She only steps with me, blocking my path. Again. On the street? That's kinda dangerous, lady. Oh great. I can sense where this is going. As I envisaged, subject demonstrates a remarkable inability to utilize basic cognitive functions. Talk about uncalled for! Abusive words, overcomplicated stuff, You know what fucking bugs me? Like, I read the complicated texts right, and the easy ones wrong. That is what bugs me. I remember in the first episode or something, one of the creators mentioned like, oh, there's going to be a character you're gonna hate. Like, she always talks complicatedly, and if you have trouble with reading out this stuff, then you will having real trouble with her. Or with that character. I didn't know it was a she at that point. Now she's here, and I'm reading her stuff out right, and my own stuff out, the easy stuff out wrong. It's amazing how I do that. She clearly has a few screws loose. Maybe I should call the hospital, see if they have a runaway mental patient. But she's not wearing hospital clothes. Look, kid, I don't know what your problem is, but... Kid. The pleasantly cool air suddenly develops a rather harsh chill. She must be in one of those phases. Just another 14-year-old, expecting to be treated with the dignity of a grandmother. Albeit a 14-year-old who apparently memorized the dictionary. Well, whatever you are, generally speaking, it's pretty rude to just run up to some random stranger and insult them. Truly, your idiocy has risen to a level beyond which I had previously surmised. She immediately digs into her pocket and flashes something in front of my face. Shigure Inomoto. So which is the first and which is the last name? I forgot in which order they give this in this game. I guess I'll find out. Freelance detective. Legally certified to inspect crime scenes, obtain private Ooh. Keep cool, man. Keep cool. That happens when I say I'm reading good today or I'm reading something good, I'm bound to misread something. Obtain private files and, if necessary, interrogate unduly inquisitive citizens with the observational finesse of a blind bat. And you shall know that I am 26 years of age. Wait. What? You're 26? Unless you presume to imply that you are deaf as well as dumb, I suggest... But you're so short. I practically feel ice crystals forming in the air. Well, I should strongly prefer to be short of stature than short of cerebral matter, as seems to be your tendency. Ouch. Not a bad blow. But wait. If you're a freelance detective, does that mean that this is an interrogation? And I'm a suspect? If I have to go to the police station, do I get excused absences from class? Okay, so apparently your first name is Shigure. Alrighty. I see no need to reverse your expectation that you will be taking the unexcused absences as they are. Consider it an inevitability, similar to your clinical depression. That stops me. What? How could she possibly... What would even make her think something like that? You might as well carry a sign. From your uniform, you are a student at the academy. From the fact that you are wearing it, you attended school this morning. From your presence in town rather than in class, you are, as I believe they call it, playing hooky. From that prescription slip, you are enrolled in the recently developed therapy method that the academy has been boasting. From your fairly normal physicality and social skills, your problem is most likely clinical depression, or something like high-functioning autism. From... Okay, I get it. You're a detective. And you're impressed, but pretending not to be. It is pretty impressive. The observations themselves might seem like common sense, but a person who can actually synthesize them is a rare find. Which, of course, kind of just makes her even more annoying. I relaxed a little, oddly relieved that she hadn't actually secretly researched me. Now it is your turn. My turn? Of course. What can you see from my physical presentation? I invite you to give your brain some much-needed exercise. That gets close to firing me up. Close. Yeah, know that feeling, man. I actually really know that feeling. Like when people challenge me and I actually think like I don't want to participate in it, but they give me a good burn, then I get like fired up for 5 seconds and then I'm like, nah, really not worth my time. Sorry, but I have my therapist's instructions to follow. Unless you have any actual business with me, I'd appreciate it if you left me alone. I step around her again. This time she doesn't move. But just as I think that I'm home free, I hear a soft whisper drifting from behind me. Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in this game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confidence of your own abilities, just because of her? I quietly stop. Oh, so do you have some supernatural powers or something? Was that what the flashback was about? Or I don't know, are you like a superhuman who was created by drugs? Something like that? Turn around slowly. Tell me how you know that, right now. I shall, after you prove yourself mentally capable of comprehending the simplest of my explanations. Fine, she wants to play it that way. Let her play it that way. Time to focus. I'll start with, is this like an actual minigame? Do I need to pay attention? Shit. So what do we start with? Her clothes, her body language, the circumstances. Did we, so far in this game, did we decide anything? To be honest, I don't remember. What do we start with? Her clothes, her body language, the circumstances. Well, I feel like it's... like clothes is probably the first thing. I mean, she started with the clothes as well. Unlike the standard professional wear I might expect of a law enforcement agent, she's dressed comfortably. Probably can do that because she's a freelance detective. They also haven't been ironed in a while, which means either she doesn't care or she's a workaholic. Possibly a combination of both. Her shirt proclaims king. Conscious or unconscious association to her egotism? I can't tell much, but I find it strange that she's dressed so casually and expect people to take her seriously. With her height and her clothes, is it any wonder that she's often mistaken for a kid? And one more thing bothers me. She wears comfortable-looking clothes, which I previously assumed were for efficiency. After all, chasing down criminals in high heels is a stupid idea. And yet, something stands out. Hat and jeans, glasses and hoodie. Whoops. Good question. Well, let me think about that. What stands out? Glasses and hoodie or hat and jeans? I mean, the hat could be for incognito purposes. Now, there are probably better things than wearing jeans to follow criminals. But on the other hand, you would seem really suspicious. Glasses and hoodie. Huh. Oh man, fuck, I need to think about that for a second. Okay, so, after thinking about it, the glasses. She's wearing glasses that you usually use to read. So, you know, the ones where you look down and then you can read with them. That's kinda weird, wearing them in the streets, you know? So I guess it's glasses and hoodie? I don't know what it is about the hoodie, but the glasses are weird. Wearing a hoodie is uncomfortable, and so are glasses. What? No, look at her glasses. These are reading glasses. Why would you wear them in the street? Right? No, actually there's nothing wrong with that. What's odd about assuming that she's wearing these clothes for movability? Okay, then hat and jeans. You want to ignore the fact that she's wearing reading glasses, okay. Right, hats are a pain to run with. Yeah, that's true. But still, these are reading glasses. That is way more obvious weird. Are there glasses that you use like these in everyday life? I don't think so. Anyway, I don't wear glasses, so to be honest, I'm not actually sure. Right, hats are a pain to run with, because unless you keep one hand on them at all times, they're likely to flop around, fall off, or just generally be obnoxious. Yeah, that's true as well, still. Glasses. And the jeans are too tight to opt for flexibility. Running in those would either be very uncomfortable or very, very embarrassing. Which implies that she just dresses how she wants to? Definitely a very headstrong individual. If she doesn't choose casual clothes for comfort, knowing that it can interfere with her job, then is she purposely choosing it to aggravate others? To announce her individualism? It would match with her choosing to be a freelance detective instead of a corporate investigator. Free-spirited, rebellious, and, as I suspect from how she's shamelessly pulling me aside for no reason, guided more by her heart than her head, despite her intellect. Not bad. Next I should think about her body language. Why not? She spreads her weight evenly on both feet, unlike most girls, who let it lie more on one side of the hip than the other. Even weight on both feet almost sounds like a fighting stance, a formal posture. Now, that really depends on your fighting style, I guess. But, like, normal fighting stances, like boxing fighting stances at least, require, like, 1 feet in front of you, you know? I mean, on the other hand, you know, with even feet, but if you're standing with both feet on the ground, like, you can't even evade punches and stuff like that. So it's probably more of a formal posture, I guess. She could be used to do formal settings, but that doesn't seem to match very well. No, it doesn't. The rest of her body language isn't so proper. She seems to hunch slightly, with her shoulders loose. No, it's more likely that she's in a fighting stance. What kind of Jeet Kune Do? I don't know, Shangri-La, I don't know. That is not a fighting stance. I mean, I'm no expert on fighting stances. Maybe there is like Chinese Kung Fu where you do that. But like in normal stuff that I know, there's always one foot in front of the other. Normal stuff. But at least in the fighting styles I know. Or I know of, because I actually know no fighting style. She seems relaxed, but with that bright-eyed look of someone expecting danger around every corner. That kind of weight distribution doesn't seem to come naturally. Maybe she was in sports, or maybe in self-defense at one point. For a while, from the looks of it. I'd like to guess martial arts, but I can't say for sure. There are too many possibilities. Okay then, maybe I should think about this a different way. Her movements are very crisp and close to the body. When she's speaking, she doesn't gesture very much, even when yelling. Generally speaking, sports emphasize emoting on a huge scale, roaring in victory, bawling in defeat. The works. Not only that, but limbs are trained more for gross motor skills than fine motor skills. Really depends on the sport, man. On the contrary, Shigure has very tight control over her hands, almost to the point where she seems stiff, which likely points to something high control, like ballet, or archery, or more subtle martial arts like Wing Chun. See, now that I don't know if you do that in Wing Chun, like standing with both feet parallel or something. Well, that still didn't narrow things down too much. Time to move on. I've noticed that when Shigure moves, she primarily tends to use her... When she moves, she primarily uses... Well, I mean, it looks like she has her right hand in her pocket. Maybe that's like her gun place, so she uses the right hand. But on the other hand, when she has it in her pocket, she probably uses the left hand. Her left hand is always hovering by her hip, where it's likely her holster would be. No, that is actually her right hand. Well, I mean, from my perspective it's left, but from her perspective it's right. Shit! That was my mobile phone. Maybe? Or could it be coincidental? She doesn't primarily use her left hand for gesturing, at least. I think I'm on the wrong track. Yeah, then it's the right hand, because I'm dumb. Her left hand is generally stagnant, while her right often takes the most action. Oh, now I get what the game wanted actually from me. Like, the one where she's in this, you know, sprite in this picture, she's striking the pose with is the hand she uses. Okay, now there I have to agree with the game, I'm dumb. Her left hand is generally stagnant, while her right often takes the most action, adjusting her glasses or tipping against her hip. Probably safe to assume that she's right-handed. So, she used to be involved in a high-control form of physical exercise, and she's right-handed. Is that all I can get from her body language? Well, she doesn't wear any noticeable makeup, she dresses like a kid, and she wears glasses instead of contacts, just calling more attention to her pathetic stature. Wait a minute. When I put it that way, it almost sounds like she has a mental disability, wants to be underestimated. Why would I assume that she has a mental disability because of that? Whoops. And why did I save just now? Even though she pretends to be indignant about being mistaken for a kid, it looks like that's her intent. Even though she's a freelance detective, she doesn't wear her badge anywhere, or carry a gun, or anything really. She probably believes that being underestimated is a valuable skill. I can't say I personally agree, but hey, she's the 26-year-old freelance detective, not me. The circumstances. Whoops. Why here? Why now? Why me? There's all questions I need to address. Okay, so far I basically fucked everything up except for one question. So now I need to do good. So, let's use my super brain powers that I don't possess. A detective has approached me and bombarded me with questions. But I see no other policeman. Is she doing this just because she's bored? No. She was specifically looking for an academy student for some reason. I'm coming up short in this area. I'll have to think about this later. I take a step back to look at the full picture. No, this isn't it. Not quite. It's good information, but it's basic. Nothing stands out. I can't actually use any of this. Time to think a little deeper. Is there anything that can help me? Anything at all? Something I've missed? Mobile phone? I don't know. Inomoto speaking. Yes. If you cannot resolve such an appallingly simple task by your own means, I shall consider your intellect no different than that of a headless chicken's. Good day. Now, you may want to hasten your efforts before the ground upon which we stand becomes our gravestones. Yeah, I'm on it. I say this distractedly primarily because I noticed. She has a flip phone. Ancient technology by today's standards. Buttons, 2-inch screen, primitive camera, the works. Not just that, but it's a terrible looking flip phone. The kind of decor that you'd see on our pre-pubescent phones. Rhinestones, heart stickers, even the random scrawl from a Sharpie that was too faded into the metal for me to read. It's completely unlike her, which means that it's a wealth of information. While on call, she so graciously turned the phone in my direction, allowing me to catch a glance of her wallpapers. Shock. It was a picture, at least a few years old, of a guy hugging her. Double shock. She was proudly showing off a ring. Not a cheap, cutesy colored ring, like the couple bands of her new relationship in its second week. I never heard that band is a verb. A legitimate diamond ring. An engagement ring. But she's not wearing the ring anymore. Even looking at her hands at this moment, I can't even tell that she'd ever worn one. Which means that she once had a fiancé, and he broke up with her. And he did it. A long time ago, obviously, when you can't see like some shade on or something on her finger. All this is all just bullshit. I mean, that is also like, it's just, you know, some kind of distraction from her. Ah, of course. If the engagement had ended recently, I'd see a tan around her finger, or maybe an indent. Instead, there is nothing. Which means that the fiancé called off the engagement a while ago. She obviously didn't call it off. Not if she's keeping that picture on her phone. In fact, maybe they broke it off amicably if she hasn't deleted it yet. Either that, or she's a stalker. Or he is dead. You know? Alright, that's much more like it. I think I'm ready. I square my shoulders and look her in the eye. Sorry about the wedding. Hello? What wedding? Is she serious? How can I possibly word this delicately? Yours. That one that your fiancé called off a few years ago. Did he? Didn't he? Unless she does have a wedding ring and she just doesn't wear it. Told you he's dead. Is it in your pocket or something? You might seek to articulate yourself better. Is what in my pocket? Your wedding ring. Why would I have a wedding ring in my pocket? If your fiancé didn't call off the wedding, then... Wait. No, there's one more possibility. And since she's in law enforcement, it wouldn't be unlikely. See? I mean, I did so bad, but at least this time I was faster than Yama. I immediately shut up as the realization dawns on me. I see you have realized. Yes, he never called off the wedding. Because he died. I suddenly feel very, very callous. Sir... Silence. Say nothing that you do not mean. Unless you are manipulating others to extract information, as that is an occupational hazard. Right. Even as she continues on, I mentally hit myself for my error. I shall admit, civilian, that you have done adequately. Train your senses constantly, and you might become moderately useful in the future. Thanks. Really, I'm overwhelmed. But I ask of you this. What is the meaning when a freelance detective approaches his students and asks a string of seemingly unrelated questions of him? She suspects him of a crime. She is testing him. She has a crush on him. I assume you are testing him. I mean, you hinted at that before. What the hell was that? You're testing my intelligence. For some reason. Or you're actually a marketing intern trying to conduct some bizarre survey. I wouldn't know. Shigure fixes me with an unfathomable stare. The only sign of emotion on her face are her eyebrows, which are almost raised to her hairline. What is your name? Sorry? Your name. This has nothing to do with the case, but if I protest, she'll probably smack me with more verbal abuse. Yama Ishimoto. What is she thinking of? Her derision is preferable to her silence. I postulate that you possess a nimity of free time. Nimiety. Anyway, what is your assessment regarding a co-adjutant métier? I assume that is Francais. Co-adjutant métier? Even uses those kinds of words. Are you asking me to be your assistant? Servant, not assistant. Putting me and job in the same sentence is never a good idea. I barely have enough diligence to hand out stuff in class when I'm called by the teacher. How much worse would my punishment be if I worked with a girl? Woman, this is crazy. Not detention, I'd assume. And yet, examining pieces of a puzzle, putting them together, framing the whole story. It was fun. Logic, ingenuity, resourcefulness. And almost nothing is fun to me, which makes it doubly interesting. Sure, why not? Good. I will require your contact information, then be off. I take a moment to process this. That's it? Wait, how did you know? Know what? You told me earlier. About her. A tense moment ticks by as Shigure stares evenly at me. Pure conjecture. You can't be serious. You did not appear to notice that my wording was intentionally vague. What? But you said, that is... Yama, that is... Everyone who has no idea what the person's actually talking about one-on-one. 101. One-on-one. Jesus Christ. What? But you said... Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in the game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your own abilities just because of her? Okay, that is actually not all that vague, though. That is true. Now, but, you know, her? Like, because of her? Like, that seems oddly specific, though. Oh, classic bait for confirmation bias. Appeal to a person's general desire for significance, allude to just one person for some added resonance. All she would have to guess is the gender. 50% chance of striking a chord in her victim. But, you know, he couldn't, like... There isn't necessarily something he feels guilt about. Like, there's a lot of assuming going into this one. I don't actually buy it. She probably guessed the girl from my personality. I'm not exactly the type to easily befriend guys. A bait. Just a bait. I see you understand. She pushes the phone into my motionless hand. I have registered my cellular number. Tomorrow, you will receive a text regarding your next assignment. Keep your evenings free. With that, she simply tips her hat, whirls around, and strides off. Okay. No, wait, I want to read that, because he talks about the bait. A bait. Was that really just a bait? No way. Or is that also a bait? A lie to make me feel better, even though she actually knows. Yeah, she is clearly bullshitting you. Clearly bullshitting you. Now suddenly things got interesting. Who is she? What is her intention? What does she want from him? And maybe she thinks he's a criminal in all reality. As mentioned, like, I kinda like my theory where Yama is the crazy murderer. And he doesn't remember. I think now that I think about it, didn't like the game's description on Steam say something like that? Like Yama being crazy or something? Or someone not remembering murder? I don't know. At least something along those lines. Or maybe I'm just misremembering. Anyway, so, thank you everybody for watching. Come back for the next episode of Lucid9. And I'll see you then. Bye bye.